Updated this week, Connie Yates and Chris Gard said goodbye to their son, Charlie Gard. On Thursday, a judge of the British High Court ruled the 11-month-old, who had been suffering from an extremely rare and untreatable genetic disorder known as mitochondrial DNA depletion syndrome, should be taken off life support and moved into a hospice facility. He died the next day. The story of the young boy has stirred up an international and contentious debate about the limits of hospice and end-of-life care. The controversy also raised concerns about the rights of parents in medical decisions for children with complicated and potentially terminal illness. There were also some serious ethical challenges. The hospital's rulings were not in line with his parents' wishes to keep him intubated. A painful story like this is usually a private matter for a family. But the controversy surrounding the clash between the hospital's policy and the parents' opinions has captured attention worldwide. Yates and Gard now face a long struggle to process the loss of their child, made even more complicated by the fact that they will grieve in the public eye. Daily emails and alerts. Get the best of Newsweek delivered to your inbox. Newsweek spoke with Dr. Joanne Cacciatore, a grief counselor whose area of expertise is traumatic death, particularly that of children. Cacciatore is professor of psychology at Arizona State University and founder of the Miss Foundation, a nonprofit that provides social support services to families grieving loss. Although Cacciatore has published more than 60 papers on the subject of bereavement and traumatic death, her expertise is also first-hand. More than 2 decades ago, she lost her daughter, Cheyenne, at birth. "We can't measure the love for our children by the number of days or years or months we've had with them," she says. And Cacciatore and Charlie Gard's parents are hardly alone. Approximately 23,215 infant deaths occur each year in the United States, about 580 of every 100,000 births, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Genetic abnormalities are among the leading causes of these losses. What makes grieving the loss of an infant different from grieving an older child? The death of a child at any age and from any cause is life-changing for parents. It's always extremely painful. What makes the death of a young baby different is that often the family grieves alone. Very few people knew the child intimately other than the parents. And because babies are, of course, highly dependent on the parent for care, such a death is different in some important and really painful ways. Many parents who experience the death of a baby feel a tremendous sense of responsibility for their baby's death. How does the grief process change if they're forced to go through it publicly? Like Charlie Gard's parents, you can have people reaching out who can be very tender and very kind. But the internet is not always the most compassionate, and your very private and very deep sorrow is under public scrutiny. I deal with grieving parents who are in the public eye a lot, and it's very painful for them. Being judged by family, but it's another thing to be judged by a nation. Public attention can really make grief complex for those families. Does the grief process change, depending on whether the death is sudden versus expected? The death of a child is always traumatic, no matter what. There is no better or worse way to lose your child. Of course, there was a time when people had 10 children and expected half of them to die before their first birthday because of communicable diseases.